All right, welcome everyone. I'm going to call the Arts and Cultural Commission meeting to order at 7:01. Let's go ahead and do, let's go ahead and do a roll call
Vanessa Westbrook,
here.
Tara Monroe, Liz Chavez,
Here.
Brooke Wilhot,
Here.
Melanie Atkins,
Here.
Michael Lynch,
Here.
Colleen Tierney, here, Rachel Price.
All right, thank you very much. Let the minutes reflect that one of our commissioners is not with us this evening. All right, from there, we are going to go to citizens' comments. And within citizens' comments, we welcome citizens from across Kyle to come and give us comments, suggestions, etc. at our meeting. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and we would love for you to come and share. Talk to us for 3 minutes, please. We're not necessarily going to act upon anything that you give us this evening, but we are taking notes, so you won't get a direct reply tonight. But we are interested in you coming and joining us and please speak out. And both of you speaking, Ms. Nally,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, so we will start with, who's going?
Hello.
Okay.
My name is Domingo Castilleta, and I was born and raised here in Kyle. But I left about 6 years ago with the military. And came back with California for 25 years. Transferred to Dallas. And in Dallas, I retired from Verizon. I was a college professor for 12 years, teaching finance, management, and business courses. I retired, came back home. So I'm back home again. My background is, of course, all related to my father, who was worked for the railroad here in Kyle for over 25 years. And he played a very instrumental part in the integration of schools here in Kyle. At the time, I recall going to Hispanic school only for about 3 months at that time. But my brothers went for about 2 or 3 years. And my father got involved with the aspect of integrated schools here in Kyle. He was involved with that with Mr. Hector Garcia, who eventually got the Freedom of Medal Award from Lyndon B. Johnson. So that's my background and my family with a direct background. So we have a rich background here in Kyle.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming and sharing that information with us this evening. All right.
So my name is Nina Rivera. I'm from South Texas, and I was interested, of course, through Vanessa, to learn more about the Arts and Culture Commission and in relation to the Cinco de Mayo. Will there be a display? So my family started a school in Hebbronville, Texas, to teach the Mexicans the proper way of sitting and speaking, and I have his over 100-year-old books in physics, they're in Spanish, geometry. Some of the books were, I donated some of the books to the Benson Library at the university. So my question is, are y'all gonna have a display of something like an educational display? If there is, and I know that I'm not from Kyle, I would be very happy to bring some of those books so children can see that the Mexicans were getting educated over 100 years ago in Hebbronville, Texas. And the school is called El Colegio Altamirano, and it's a very old Indian name. It's received an award from the Texas Historical Commission, and it's going to get that marker in Hebbronville, I think in June or something like that. So I just wanted to share my history with the locals here in Kyle, if you all do have that kind of display. And I think in relation with Domingo, we talked about that, if there is going to be a display during Cinco de Mayo, his rich history of what his family and his father did. And so that's why we're here.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate both of you coming and joining us. You're more than welcome to come join us at any time. We meet the third Thursday, like tonight, at 7 p.m. If you may have some other bright ideas, you may want to share with us, we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Sorry, is there a way to get in contact with you after?
Yes, ma'am, we can leave our cards. We both serve on the CAS
Or
board. I'm also on, I don't know, auxiliary and Kiwanis and so on and so forth, but I know Vanessa.
Awesome, yeah, I'd love to see it.
I'm a firm believer in what you guys do, because I'm really fond of the arts and crafts and all that, and culture. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, this is great. I love this stuff.
All right then, nobody's online, so we're gonna go ahead and close the, citizens' comments for this meeting. And it's about, it's like 7:04, something like that. Okey-doke, we are moving on now, and we are going to approve the minutes of the February 16th meeting. Everybody received them, but you also have a copy for you. I'll give you just a second to scan it. I believe everybody has already had the opportunity to look at it and note actions that we did from our last meeting. Are there any corrections? All right, I'm going to go ahead and call for a vote to approve the minutes from the last meeting. And all those in favor of the approval of the minutes, please say aye. Okay, any nays? Okay, meeting minutes for February are approved. Okay, continuing with business, we have the chair's update now. Notice that I'm looking at this agenda and it's a little bit different than what I sent out. But notice that in the agenda that I sent out to everybody, I just kind of had everybody listed on the agenda and all the stuff you're doing. And so there may be something where you say, I don't have a report for that tonight, just make that known, okay? And then we'll move on from there. But this one looks a little bit different, but we do start off first with the chair's report. And so in the chair's report, a couple of things. I was going to talk a little bit about the art on the wall at City Hall, but that's in chair's report. I'll just hold off on that. I do want to talk a little bit about the Juneteenth celebration, meeting with the city and helping them to get that program off and running. The idea behind it is the date is going to be June the 10th, and it is the week before Juneteenth. Juneteenth is on the 19th, and I believe that's a Tuesday, but that weekend before Juneteenth is the Saturday and Sunday before that Tuesday is Father's Day weekend. So city decided, let's go with the week before that, not interfere with Father's Day weekend. And the Juneteenth celebration will be in conjunction with Market Day. So it's basically going to be called City of College Market Day, Juneteenth celebration, very much the way we did it last year. City is going to be responsible for vendors, registration of vendors, food trucks, out designing what the Mary Hartson Park is going to look like in regards to who's going to go where. We are going to help with the program part and securing basically the performers and the people who will be participating in the program, with some suggestions from the city. Last year, there was a group called The Rock singing group. The city wants to bring them back. They've got a lot of reviews on them. So we've already contacted them and they were like, yep, we're in, count us in. So we're good to go there. they wanted to extend the program a little bit more than last year. So one of the things the city is doing, for instance, is last year we had like a platform stage. This year's gonna be a full-fledged stage with the backdrop, the lights and all that kind of stuff like that. They're taking care of the cost of that so we can actually ante up a little bit in regards to performances. And with that in mind, I do have two groups rather, to perform. One I wanted to bring forth was a Black-owned dance company out of Houston that travels around Texas, especially during Juneteenth. I was able to chit chat with them. They are very interested in coming. They do have a fee that they want to charge us, and we can negotiate that with them a little bit. I'll talk about that in a minute. Another one is a local artist who actually was in the Los Angeles area. He's a saxophonist, and I was sitting down and actually listening to his performance on YouTube while we were waiting out the meeting outside. He's also interested in performing. He does a 30-minute saxophone show, and he'll put together a medley of songs that would connect the idea of celebration for Juneteenth. So he's another one. Last year, we had Anthony Davis, who is a member of the Hays County Historical Commission. Last year, he did a reenactment of General Granger reading the proclamation of Juneteenth exactly like it was done in Galveston in 1865. It's got the full uniform and everything. He again wants to come and do that. That's 3. So we've got the dancing, the dance company, the saxophonist, the rock singing group. They're local. They're right at the local church, and then Granger. So that's what we're looking at right now. The park department basically kind of wanted to have a program somewhere between like 9 and 11 because before it gets too hot. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be a real hot day. Last year we ended up shutting down at 2 instead of 4 because it was so hot. I mean, it was really hot. We were already in the hundreds like by 12:30. So, but there's lots of shade and that kind of stuff like that. So they're not really worried about that. But the program will be done by 11:30 overall with the performances and that kind of thing. I've asked the dance company to send me an invoice of their negotiated pricing, and we can work with that. And I also asked Mr. Sanders, who is a saxophonist. I think he said he won a Grammy, if I'm not mistaken. But he's local, he's retired, and he's still playing, that kind of thing like that. And of course, anytime we can promote local artists, that's like fabulous to do. So that's where we are with that. This is in June. We're way ahead of the game. So the idea of getting folks to agree and getting invoices and that kind of stuff, we are definitely where we need to be, because like we're in March. So I'd like to have all this on there by April if need be. And program, but everybody has agreed to do it. We just got to negotiate prices for the most part. So we actually have this program. And I believe Parks Department said they are over 75% sold because the Juneteenth event is the first market day for the season. So June is the first one. So of course everybody has already jumped on and said, yes, I definitely want to be a part of market day. And they did so well last year that they think they're going to go ahead and sell out on spaces before the summer is out. So people are just prepaying for the whole package and being just done with it instead of paying per month, that sort of thing. So there's that. I also talked with the Parks Department about thinking about an Indigenous people, some kind of activity or event in November. So the idea is just a thought. And one of the reasons why this came up is because last November, City Council did an Indigenous Peoples Proclamation. And at the conclusion of the proclamation, when they had 2-3 tribes in the area that actually came forward to get in the picture for the proclamation, Councilman Tobias said, I'm going to contact Arts and Culture to see about if we can add an event maybe next year. Well, this November is next year. So we just kind of did think about that. What would that look like? It could be as big or as small as we wanted. But if we wanted to add something to the proclamation being read by the city of Collin, it would be the first week in November at their first meeting. what would that look like if we wanted to do something? So can y'all give that some thought? Initially, I thought about trying to put together like a powwow. That takes a little bit more time and energy, and November will be here before we know it. It could be something as small as doing a celebration at City Hall where we provide cake and punch or something like that to everybody that's gonna come out for the proclamation. So be thinking about what that could look like. It's November, and I can tell you that in November, we're having the Veterans Day Parade. So I know that's what Parks Department is gonna do. The Veterans Day Parade will coincide with the November Market Day. So that's what Parks is doing. So not sure what Library has thought about doing yet in regards to Indigenous people. But let's just keep it on our mind, and we'll put it on our next agenda that we start brainstorming. What could we do in order to connect to the Indigenous people's heritage? I forgot what it's called. It's Indigenous people, it might just be called Indigenous Peoples Month. Is there a?
I think it's Heritage
name
Month.
for it?
Yeah.
Is it Heritage? Okay, Indigenous Peoples Heritage Month. And that's our cultural part of our name. What could we do? And then if we do, we kind of do Juneteenth, Black History Month, we have Hispanic Heritage Month as well as Cinco de Mayo, and then we have Indigenous People Month. That's 3. The 4th one would be Asian American and Pacific Islander, which I'm gonna talk about in just a minute, okay? Because something's coming up and we need to make a decision about that. So that would cover 4 big groups here in the area that would fall under our Arts and Cultural Commission. And what could we do? Like I said, it could be something as small as having a small celebration at City Hall the night of the proclamation, or something bigger than that. But I do know November, we've got Veterans Day Parade, as well as Market Day. That's 2 big things going on. I don't know what the theme of the November Market Day would be. Parks hasn't shared that with me, because sometimes they do Market Day and doesn't have a designated theme. It's just a Market Day. And we can ask them, hey, y'all doing anything specific for that? And find out what's going on. So I wanted to put that on everybody's list of things to do. Also wanted to report a little bit on the Peace and Progress panel discussion that we had. Was really nice. There was a commercial that ran about 3 weeks prior to it. We had 12 citizens who applied to be on the panel. And we did a big, we being the communications office, did a big advertisement, we did the commercial, we had social media, and 12 people applied, and we selected 7 of the 12 to actually be on the panel. So the panel had 7 members. And the members were from ages 18 to age 72. So a nice range. They were asked a series of questions, and you kind of got a generational discussion. If you hadn't seen it, you can go take a look at it. It's on YouTube. So it went extremely well. We had 20 people in the audience, and I believe they said it was, when they had checked, when I asked them, there were 11 people live streaming the event, because there's an opportunity to participate where you're asked a question and you can phone in your answer, and then those answers are put up on the screen. So overall, extremely well. I'm not quite sure what the idea is planned for a Peace and Progress panel discussion for Juneteenth, but I do know that one is definitely planned for Hispanic Heritage Month that Liz is going to kind of be in charge of when we get to that point. Let's see what else. Okay, so you know where we were last time with the National Fitness Campaign. We've done our part in creating the criteria. We're waiting on Parks to give us the new timeline as to when they are going to make the announcement for the call of artists, the deadline for submission of applications, and then when we come in to judge the applications and then make 2 recommendations to City Council, who will decide one or the other that they want to choose for this. Now, I found out something new, and that was originally they were under the impression, as they had told me, that the artist was going to paint a mural. Well, now the person's design is going to be made on vinyl, and it's going to cover the wall. So the person won't be out there literally painting. Their design will be, once we choose it, will then some kind of system that they have where you have a vinyl covering, and then it will be professionally installed over a wall that's going to be built. Thing is, they're still not sure where that's gonna be now. Because remember I told you originally, it was gonna be over across from the old flea market in that kind of area that's just kind of, just need to be cleaned up, all that kind of stuff. Well, they're not sure now if that's where they want it, and they have not given me any more information. But again, we're waiting on our part, and that is when we get the applications, when we review them, when we judge it, when we make recommendations to city council to go forward with that. So I'll keep y'all posted on that. I asked everybody to take a look at the February 27th city council discussion in regards to, the Arts and Cultural Commission. I was not told that we were an agenda item. Luckily, I found it because before every meeting, I just go and take a look to see who's on it, and saw number 27, Arts and Cultural Commission. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I better watch this. I actually had COVID, so I was at home watching it on TV. And they had this discussion about could they direct us to do more art? And, well, y'all saw it. What were your thoughts on, what's your interpretation of what you saw?
So I want to go on the record as saying that when I put my name in the hat and showed interest in doing this, I thought it was about all the arts here in the city of Kyle. I knew that we would be serving at the discretion of the city council. I did not, however, believe, based upon everything I had read and discussed, that the city council would be dictating to us what we do. And I felt very uncomfortable by the suggestion that we were just supposed to come up with a list of sculptures so that developers, they could ask developers to pay for them. That's not what I feel like we're here for, and that's not something that I will participate in. So,
I appreciate that.
just want to go on the record, and I would also share that with the council, and I may still go to the meeting and share that with the council, that if you don't like what we're doing, you can replace us when our time is up. That's fine, but this is for the community as a whole. This is not for what feels like a pay-to-play game.
Good point.
So,
And to add to that, we have written a description of what we're supposed to be doing. And I think everything that we have on our agenda of things to do coincides with what is in those written instructions, right? This document that we received. And just an FYI, when I was going to city council to explain to them about our budget, I actually sat with the budget and noted every bullet and how each of those activities connected to at least 3 bullets of what they told us we were going to be doing. And there was none of our ideas where I couldn't find a bullet for them. So I was ready to do that. But I'm gonna tell you, here's the next thing. They approved our budget, right? What was on the budget, they approved the budget without any discussion. It's like, okay, pretty, all in favor? Aye, okay. Well, all right then, so that's telling me, let's move forward. And let us make adjustments how we need to make adjustments into what it is that we feel we can do. Because I do believe we're covering multiple areas of art with our activities. So I just wanted to add that.
I'd just like to, ask the question, what was their purpose in creating this commission? Was it just to try and enhance tourism? Because that seems to be where the council person is, that, the liaison person. And I just don't agree with that, we're not a tourist town. We don't have anything that people are gonna be interested in coming to see and spend time, touristy things. And I don't think you're gonna get that by putting some statues all around town and expecting that, people are gonna come in and take selfies with them.
Right.
That's not gonna happen. But my understanding when I signed up was that this was a group that was going to try to enhance, the people of the towns and the citizens, their interest and knowledge of what's available in this town, arts-wise and crafts-wise and things like that, so that they can get involved in that kind of stuff. And I think that's where we're headed, to try to, get people interested and get them coming out, to look at what we're doing and what the town is doing. And I just think it's a little short-sighted what they were saying, but I have to agree with that. And if they're gonna attempt to force us to do that, I wouldn't even wait around till I'm done. I would. That's it, because I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in what we're doing.
Well, once again, we have our marching orders because they gave us a document. Until they give me a new document, I'm following that document. And right now, we're following the document. Brooke, you have anything?
I don't have anything to add that's not already been said.
Okay. Stephanie?
I'd like to maybe see our liaison at the next meeting so we can ask these questions in person, because I feel like if they're gonna talk about what we're doing here, I think we should at least have the fair chance to talk with our liaison.
Okay.
I agree, I'd like our liaison to attend the meetings.
All right. I'm wondering whether or not we actually have a liaison, to be truthful with you. And the reason why I say that is because, if I'm not mistaken, Councilman Tobias said, is it possible that we could get a copy of the minutes of the meetings from each of the boards and commission in our packet? And, okay, he said, if that way we can keep up with what's going on. I said, okay, well, that's a good idea, yeah. Here's the thing. They'll get a copy of our approved minutes. We won't be sending out minutes that we have not approved, and as of right now, our February meetings were just approved a few minutes ago. So those are ready to be sent on to City Council. When we get done at the end of the day, end of the night, those minutes have not been approved by us yet, and therefore they will not be going out. And that's my decision as the chair. Right, so we want to look at it and say, oh, that's right, oh, that's right, oh, no, that's not right. And then once all that's done, sure, anybody can have a copy, but we post them anyway.
Yeah.
Once the ones that we sign off on, Stephanie and I sign on today, they're going to be posted to the public website. So somebody tonight, as of 8 or 9 o'clock, once they're up on the line, can go and look at the February minutes. So.
Are those posted, sorry, just since I'm working on the website, do I need to include or tell Xander an area to post
Yeah,
minutes?
it'll
So
probably
then that
be
way
on
it's just easy,
It'll
okay.
be on
Actually,
the-
it's something that I do.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, but I'm just wondering if like we can post it there too, so it's in 2 places versus, or.
It was, well, when I did it for the historical commission, I was a webmaster. All I did was just connect a link and it said minutes
Perfect, yeah,
and agenda.
we could do
And when you
that.
clicked on it, it went to the site that had it. There
And
was
that's what
nothing.
we do. That's
Okay.
what we do, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll ask Xander to just add a link like she's saying, so then that way it links back.
Yeah, like I don't know if the Arts and Cultural Commission board is on the website. that
Yeah,
you-
he's working on it right
Okay.
now, we already have
It
a
all is, it's part of Novus Agenda, which is the agenda creating software that we use. And it's all linked through that. So I believe if you put a link, it would just bring you to that.
Perfect.
All
I'll
the
just
meetings
make
in the city are on this, are listed on the same, yeah.
All right then, good deal. All
And
right.
I would think that, like, if they have an agenda item that, they're going to discuss, that directly, relates to us, we ought to at least know about it.
Yeah.
Someone should at least contact you and
Yeah,
say, hey,
contact,
I put this agenda item.
contact
Oh,
the
I
liaison,
want
so she
something
can
to
then
do,
contact
what I
me.
say.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had
But
talked
I
about that.
wasn't aware of it.
Right, that's what, yeah, because when I told you about it, you were like, okay, I didn't know that was on there either, so, yeah. Yeah, to me, that just makes good sense, and not just our commission, but any of the commission or boards, if they're gonna be on the agenda, contact their liaison person, so the liaison person can contact the chair, and if I need to be there, or if I'm sick, have one of y'all go there to be able to answer questions and whatnot. But this was like a pop-up thing and have a conversation, and I was like, wait, and literally, I went and got my packet. And I'm looking at the packet, and I was like, okay, I don't see that on there. I'm following, this is what y'all gave us. This is what we're following. You want us to follow something different? Redo it, or send us a new one.
Well, then they don't need an Arts and Cultural Commission, what they need is an advisory board that goes out and solicits the things that they want to get to developers.
Yeah, and that's not.
This is, our job is about enrichment of the community and the people that call us home.
Right.
And our job is to be their voice at the table, not an agenda of
Absolutely.
somebody that wants to get reelected.
Yeah. And I'm gonna move on, last thing I'm gonna say about this. is thank you, but last thing I'm gonna say about this is they approved our budget.
So we're good.
So we're going with the approved budget for now. Okay, and we can make decisions in regards to whether we need to move something or change something today, or that kind. We can make that decision as a whole, basically, but they approved our budget, and until somebody tell me we're not using that budget anymore, then we're going forward with our budget in our prime directive as we have. Okay. The last thing I wanted to mention to you before we move on is, there was a discussion at city council about the Papa Jack's, wall. Papa Jack's, which you know burnt down, and the city now owns that property. There is a wall that's still standing. And it was, Mayor Mitchell said, while I was up there talking about the budget, he happened to say, is there something y'all can do with the wall? And my response is, we'll look into it, which is what I've been doing. And so I asked Colleen to have a conversation with some of the folks in engineering, inspection, development and whatnot. And as of right now, they're saying maybe the wall is made out of limestone. And I can tell you as a material and science engineer, limestone is like, you know when you eat a piece of cornbread and when you pick it up, it crumbles and then you move it and it crumbles and you eat it and it crumbles. That's kind of what limestone does. So moving it might not be something that we're able to do, but I do want to get the professional opinion of some inspectors to go out there, and I told, asked Colleen if she could set something up. I'll go out there with them, and then their professional opinion is, what can be done with this wall? And my professional opinion is, well, thinking about an art perspective, what could be done with this wall? And it may be that the wall can't be moved.
So which wall is it? 'Cause I was looking at it the other day. Is it the wall that's in the back, or is it the wall that's adjacent to the building they left standing?
Yes,
Oh.
yes. And one side of it,
That's a hot mess.
yeah, one side of it is completely burnt and crumbled, and the other side of it is intact. But I don't see how you could pick up, because it's individual
Yeah, no,
squares.
you can't, because it's attached. So what are they putting in that other building?
Don't know, and that was one of my questions. What are they turning that into?
Palmer Jack's turning into?
Yeah.
My understanding is
Section.
from, and again, I just having spoken to some people around town, my understanding is that they're turning that into a restaurant bar again.
Okay, no, the city bought
Okay.
it. City bought the whole thing, so they own it now. So it's a decision to be a
Yeah,
city.
I heard that like several months ago,
Yeah,
so.
city has purchased it now, and that's why they're asking about the wall. Now, the interesting part about
I
the
thought
wall,
that the city wanted to build a building. Are they still building the one that's across from the quilt space? Are they still doing that for the economic development?
I don't know about that.
They just tore that one down, so they're
So they're gonna
The
rebuild
old
their house?
house?
Okay.
I don't know about that one.
The house across the street from the
Kirkbrooke Activity Center.
Oh, Old Crook House?
old group.
Yeah.
So they want to put a restaurant
They were
there.
gonna
Yeah,
It's
so-
a sit-down
All
restaurant.
right, okay, but back to the wall.
It's fine.
One of the things that I would say to the engineers and the inspectors is that if they're going to build something where Papa Jack's was and it's gonna be another city thing, it's possible to build a new building around the wall and use the wall as a historic something. And I can say,
historic?
huh?
Is it historic?
It is historic. The area, though it was never claimed, it is possible to do that.
Okay.
Because the Tenorio store is what that building used to be
Okay.
back in the day, that wall. And then they added on to it and all this other kind of stuff like that. But his question was, can we repurpose the wall? And we don't have an answer yet, but we're all looking into it. That's the big thing.
Will Atkinson, the city planner, he does not think that it is possible to leave it up in.
Yeah, I would initially agree.
Yeah.
I literally got out there, and went through the fence looking like this, and I was like, there is
Yeah,
no way.
because of the fire damage and stuff, I mean, it's
Uh-huh.
not only been old limestone, but it was, there's.
It was burnt.
Maybe we can come up with some kind of commemoration where we take some pieces of it and have someone do a sculpture, because we all want sculptures. But do a sculpture or something that's around the park or over there that still acknowledges the historical aspect of the, piece of the wall. That's,
No, sorry, I was just thinking about the Berlin Wall.
I know, that's exactly what it is.
That's
Coming out of my mouth, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. All right,
You
well,
know,
we'll
have a piece of the Kyle Wall.
We'll keep at it, and I'll keep you updated, but the next discussion is with the engineers and the inspectors, to get an official opinion of it, and then we can move from there. But, and again, he asked me, could we do something with it? And I said, we'll look into it. And that's exactly what I'm doing, just keep everybody updated, okay? All right, then. Next, we're gonna go to number 2, and quote display for September. How we doing with
It's
that?
not till December.
I'm sorry, September. December.
I mean, you know, like I could collect probably 20, 25 items right now,
Okay,
you know, because it's just gonna be, you know, a call or something that you'd like to have displayed.
okay.
And there's, like I saw pictures of it, you know, how things would need to be hung and stuff like that. I think it's-
And, I spoke with Xander, because he's our go-to person for that, and he says that he would love the idea of actually having rods where the, pieces, the quilts could be draped over.
Well, we have, when we do our quilt show, you're required to have a sleeve on the back.
Yeah,
So, you know, and if you have a wall hanging, you have a sleeve on the back of it already.
right,
Because that's a thing.
right.
So that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I will
We
tell,
could do it that way, that would be the perfect way.
okay.
It
He's,
wouldn't, you know, be pins and, you know, things that could, you know, damage.
So is this through the quilters group, or is this separate from through the quilters?
through the quilt, they
Top
will be
Okay. I
provided.
didn't know if this was something that could be something that's like all, like people maybe who don't just do quilts, but they do like fabric or textile arts instead of just quilts. So that's why I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
Well, right now, I think on this one, because we're kind of doing a pre-promotion for the quilt
Quilt
show
show.
that's the following
that
month.
was a discussion.
So I'd like to keep it just, you know, quilts or things
Yeah,
that
no worries.
that quilters have made, type of thing.
Well, and the idea is that we are talking about overall and putting more pieces of art in City Hall. And we're gonna have a calendar that Stephanie is gonna show us. We have open spaces, it may not be this year 23, but it may be 24, that we might expand it out a little bit if we're talking. So working with just this one group gives us a way of being able to, you know, get this done. But if we wanna get to a point where we might wanna have a fiber, art, and then we have to have a call for art and that kind of thing like that. That's something to put on our radar for 24 maybe, okay? All right, thank you, ma'am, on that update. So you and I, Xander, need to get together so he can talk about his vision of how these rods would be put up and then how we would hang and that kind of thing. The only thing that I'm concerned with is I don't particularly want quilts, and maybe y'all don't care, people walking up and touching them.
Yeah.
I have an issue with that as an artist, and, you know, people like that. People like, oh, how pretty, and they just put their little hand oil all over it. So not hanging that low is what I'm thinking. So anyway, we can talk about that.
They probably need to be hung for now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We can
They'll all
talk
be,
there.
they'll all be very small, so,
They'll be small.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna, not a 4x4, you know, quilt top or something like that,
Okay.
tabletop or something.
We'll get
It'll be
together.
smaller.
We'll get together the same way that he and Tara got together when we came up with the plan of what the, students' art looked like. We literally sat there in the place and came up with the schematic, so we can do the same thing. Okay, cool, thank you. That's a September thing that's coming up, and then it will be the precursor to the, October quilt show. Okay? All right, moving on. The discussion about the sculpture garden at the public library, and I had Melody and Michael for that.
We need artists to talk to about it, because I'm not gonna plan a sculpture garden without sculptors to give input. So once we do the reception
Yeah,
and we have artists to talk to
Yeah.
about this,
yeah,
that's when I feel comfortable with like moving
I
forward.
like
with
that idea, because I'm thinking we can have a call for artists and talk about the sculpture garden, have a meeting here, have people come out, get some ideas and those kinds of things.
Yeah, because they probably want to see the space, they want to talk about it,
Absolutely.
and I'm not a visual artist, so.
What would this thing look like? Yeah, we need a game plan. Okay, I like that. Okay, let's move on with that one. All right, moving on down. Liz, you're up about the website.
So the webpage has been, it's published right now just so we can start reviewing it. I went through and already did my first initial review of it. And so for next meeting, I'll be able to have the full printout, so that way everybody else. But there was just minor things, like he still had Arts Commission on certain menu buttons and stuff, so it was very obvious stuff that we would have all caught. So to just save everybody time and efficiency, I already went ahead and edited it initially. And it's looking really good. The one thing I need to follow up on is the art directory. So I have the intake form already. It's just going to be a Google form. And so that way we'll just start collecting them. But I'm trying to figure out the most efficient way on how to house that publicly. In my mind, and this is just how I think, but I really feel like there is some kind of platform already out there that is already like an online Rolodex already. So then it's already templated. So when we get that information from the Google form, we just copy and paste in there. But I just did initial research yesterday and I haven't had it. I'm going to reach out to a couple more people and see if that's possible, because I think the alternative is we'd have to make like a really simple WordPress, which isn't hard or anything. It's just a little bit more time efficient and updating and maintenance. So I'm trying to think of the easiest way for maintenance moving forward. So that is just my plan right now. That's my big like things to do while Xander is making those edits to the webpage. But it's looking really great already from the outline he took. And I also gave him the calendar you sent me. And I know some of these like they don't say all the way. So I said if you wanted to play around with it and create like a quarterly version that could be easily updated on his end too. So those are all in the works right now, but it's looking really good from what I saw publishing. You already have go on there too, so it's looking really great.
All right, I was gonna try and get on it while I'm sitting here on my computer, but I have a question for you. So we had a discussion about creating the QR code
Oh, yeah.
that we're gonna use at the reception,
Yes.
right? That we're gonna have it set up, people come to the reception, they can click on it, and then they can put all their information.
Yeah.
And then that information goes where?
So that'll go into the Google form. So we can make a QR code for that Google form, and then they fill out all the information, and it's just getting housed on my Google Drive right now.
Okay.
So I can house it, and what I can do is just make an export a spreadsheet and put all that information, because that's probably how it'll come to me in Google, and then send it out to us. But a QR code is just an avenue to get to a certain link. It's just an easier way to pull up the link.
Okay.
So we can have a link version and we can have a QR code.
Okay.
So
Because you remember when we first started talking about the reception, we were talking about like having computers and people coming in there and instruct them.
yeah, QR code is way easier.
Well, that's where I was going.
Yeah, it's free. People pull it up on their own phone. The only thing I would probably suggest is if we could see if there's Wi-Fi, just because sometimes.
There is.
Okay, so then that would be the only thing, is to make sure that Wi-Fi is like easily posted. So if people are having trouble with QR codes or whatever, they can log on to Wi-Fi to easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so whoever's coming that evening can keep on.
Exactly. All you do is just print it out. I can easily, they have free generators online that are easy to put it up on, and we'll print it out.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, let's see, so moving on. And again, Liz, you're still over Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, yes. So I found a woman, her name is Carmen. She's based out of Austin, and she's done some really cool work. So I reached out to her, and she's interested. Her only concern is she doesn't know she has enough like printed pieces, because she does everything. She does like textile on fabric, she does murals, she does all kinds of stuff. So, and that's what initially caught my eye, was one of her murals. And so I was wondering if in that sense, maybe we could find a Hispanic photographer that they could partner up and that person could take pictures of their work, and then we could post some more.
So maybe we can also put up some information at the art reception that we're looking for artists local, so like in the Kyle area that might want to display work for Cinco de Mayo. I'm not sure if
that might be a little fast. That's my only thing, because
I wasn't sure if that.
Yeah, so that's my only thing, is because it sounds like she's gonna have to like pull together her collection. And so I said we could either do a photographer to take pictures of your murals, like find a friend, and then post those, or we could have her partner, maybe, she's done like a lot of collaborations and stuff, so I didn't know if maybe she had another suggestion. I personally would like to highlight like a woman Latinas or Latina artist, just because they're often underrepresented, so that's my aim and my goal. But she's very interested, and if not, I know she has a good connection. I noticed we had a lot of like friends in the art scene, so,
Well, we decide, we're deciding how many pieces, and if she
Yeah.
wants to put up 10 pieces, then okay.
yeah,
You know,
Can we combine, I mean,
yeah, that's,
so what, okay, so taking your idea, we ask people at the
Mhm.
artist reception, so she's already.
and she only has
she's
like 2 or
answered
3, like,
so
yeah, that
We
could,
give her a little spotlight in an area, we do anyone else, and then I love their idea.
yes, yeah.
So why couldn't we bring in like an educational piece as well too, because we've got the room for it. With artifacts and,
we would need a display case,
does the library have a display case we could use?
and what, to do that here, is what you're thinking? Because right now, we're talking about just City Hall.
I don't think we have a display case like that's mobile.
No.
We have some display cases in the heritage room, but they're full of.
Wait, when you're talking about display case, you talking about doing a display case here at the library?
No, I was just wondering if they had a mobile one that we
Oh,
could take
okay,
over
yeah,
to
yeah.
City Hall to
Now,
display.
there is one there, and they typically, they have something in it, but I could certainly talk to somebody and see if they can take that stuff out for the month of May
Yes.
and make a display that we can put, because that display that I'm referring to, they keep it right now in the Falcone room, but they have pulled it out of the Falcone room and had it in the lobby.
I feel like I've seen it in the
Yes,
lobby.
yes.
So why couldn't we put that in the lobby and then have some of the books and
I would
things
love
that we
that.
discussed in there with some photographs, like the photograph of your father, and, you know, why?
Sure.
I like that as well too, because I feel as if
I think that'd be
we're already
really
gonna
cool.
have a good pool to have people come see.
Yeah, and
This
especially
is
we pull
more-
from the art reception, it might be easier if we're like, okay, we have room for 2 pieces. I think we probably just need to be a little bit more directive, because then I think it might be like wrangling cats if we're like trying to get.
Get a couple of people specifically. So
Yeah.
how about this, you work on the art part,
Okay.
and let me look into that display case.
Okay.
If it is possible that we can move it back out into the foyer area and then take everything out of it, and then I can contact Nelia and Domingo about getting pieces that we can, because it has 3 shelves in it.
Okay.
It's tall, it's about 7, 8 feet high, it's 3 pieces, it's glass all around it, but it also locks, so we don't worry about
And
somebody
then I
else
think,
on stuff.
and then I think it would be pretty cool if like you had like a historical background, we could like use Canva or something and pop something together to make it like a display, so it's like, it's that educational piece and have.
It'd be like a public
And we
event.
have to, I think we should do it in English and Spanish too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, definitely.
So first thing I'll do is check into, can we use it, can it be moved out into the lobby area, like why was it moved in the first place? And they might have just been doing it because of space, that sort of thing. I'll check into that, and that's the communications team would be, I'll check with them on that. Okay.
Vanessa, you're gonna have also a big, heavy calendar, you know, a big calendar, the Aztec calendar.
Oh,
Yeah, I have one at the house. You know, we all wanted to use that, to have that as a display, and then someone talking about the calendar, the history of the calendar and everything, it'd be really interesting.
Or what we could do is record it and have the recording in a QR code, so that way when people listen.
Or both, that monitor that's outside in the hall of City Hall,
Mhm.
they can put anything on that.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so it could be that particular recording is put out there during the month of May or something like that. Well, okay, I'll ask. Those are 2 things. Thank you, ma'am. I'll ask about those. Okay, definitely. Okay, good deal. All right, so I'll work on the display thingy. It's basically a mini pop-up museum is what it is. Okay,
And then
and
I'll work
then
on.
I'll get back with you guys on that. And the other thing in regards to using the person, ask her, Liz, how many pieces is she talking about? Does she only have 3?
I don't think she has 3. I just told her, I was like, well, I'm going to the meeting today, so I'll check in to see
Ask
how
how many
many,
pieces
because
she
she
has.
might be used to somebody requesting her for like 10 pieces or something.
Right.
And she might have 8, I don't know, and that might be plenty, so I'll ask her, I'll tell her there's not really like minimum.
Okay, yeah, that's not really a minimum, yes, whatever we decide it's gonna be. And now we got maybe a possible pop-up.
And I can send her, like, show y'all a little bit of the art at her Instagram real quick, just so y'all have an idea.
Okay, so number 6, Liz, is the Hispanic Heritage Month Peace and Progress Community Dialogue, which is, we know it's gonna be in September. That's pretty much all we know right now. I don't have any more details on that as of yet, because they just finished with the Black History one, and they're trying to decide about the Juneteenth one is September. Although we know what the format is, the only thing that will be changed is you be the moderator, and then who the members of the panel will be.
Okay.
Similar process, having a big, thing to the community, anybody interested in participating, I got them. That sort of thing.
Oh, other.
Nice. Okay, so, just an update, Hispanic Heritage Month, we're waiting more details from communication. Okay, all right, then we're gonna go to, Tara was next to talk a little bit about the Railroad Depot Artist Event, and you have that information, ladies and gentlemen, on, it says Monroe Report for March. She actually has a couple of things, and we might cover a couple of these at the same time. All right, so, if you notice that she starts off by talking about the Black History Month art display at the Town City Hall, it was so well received. The day that it went up on the 13th, we had people, we put it up on Friday evening. The week, City Hall was closed Saturday and Sunday. Monday morning, the first group to see it was the city employees. And they were like, oh, wow. And it just went uphill from there. Because I went to 2 or 3 meetings that week, and, you know, I had staff at City Hall saying, hey, did y'all see that display that was up? I was like, yeah, sure did. So it went very well. The night that we had the dialogue, Peace and Progress dialogue on the 17th, we actually gave the students a reception. Had cake and punch for them. They all came, and that day, guys, they were actually out of school that day. And they all showed up.
Wow.
I mean, all the parents, grandma, grandpa, cousins, everybody. The place was packed with people, and of course, the kids were standing by their pictures so they could take a picture with their family and that kind of stuff. It was really well received. We got a great accords from Council Member Zuniga, who was like, this idea of having student art is like fabulous. Can we do more of that? And the idea was like, yeah, well, sure. And Tara was like, yeah, we can definitely do this again. And we can focus on another group of kids and that kind of
Do
thing.
you have any pictures of that we could put on the website, so that we have like events?
Yes, we do.
I think they might have.
Communications have already posted.
I think Xander might have already included, and that was one of my edits, was like, there was no information about what picture it was, so I didn't know what I was looking at.
Oh,
So I asked him, I was like, could you find descriptions of whatever these, because he pulled them, I didn't get his.
and we had a lot because each picture had the name of who did it and what it was, every single picture. It took them a few hours to get them all up.
Yeah.
So there was no picture just sitting there when you didn't know what it was, who did it. They had a title and everything.
Yeah.
And it was our first go around. It was fabulous. We can definitely do more of it. And so, you know, lots of praise from everybody about having student art up on the wall. The next thing is, well, she's also saying on here, Tara said about future displays at City Hall. We're gonna get to Stephanie, because Stephanie's kind of put together a calendar of what we said we're gonna do so far in regards to putting stuff up on the wall at City Hall. And guys, one of the things I would say is we don't have to have stuff up every month. There might be a month when there's nothing up, and then there might be at some point where something's gonna stay up for 2 months. So that's totally at our discretion. We're basically going from nothing on the walls of City Hall to something on the walls of City Hall, and we're gonna decide on what that is as a commission for the most part. And our first guinea pig was a student art, and it was fabulous. So we can only go up from there. I'll let Stephanie talk about a little bit more about the, what's gonna be on City Hall, and then we can expand out from there. Where else do we want to put stuff on the wall at? You know, something here at the library where we have a section where we can put stuff on the wall. So, but that was our first go around, and it was successful, and we've got a few more things coming up between now and then. So, next thing is that third thing where it says all aboard. So the idea is that May 13th, and actually Tara and I, and who he's the manager of the depot, we met last Saturday, and we are going to have a calling, it's all aboard calling out acrylic artists. And this event will be on May the 13th. This is a Saturday, and the depot is typically open from 10 to 2 that day. This event is going to start at 9 o'clock with the artists coming. They're going to locate themselves a spot, and they're going to use acrylic and canvas, and they're going to paint something about the depot. Could be inside, could be outside, et cetera, et cetera. Tara wanted to have no more than 30 artists participate. And so she put together some things such as the depot closes at 2, but the artists will probably be there another hour, finishing up and whatnot. We want to give the artists, the 30 who are going to apply with an application, etc. We want to give them a 16 by 20 canvas, and we want to give them a bag, 5 small bottles of paint. She's listed the paint. And then the Historical Commission said that they would provide the refreshments for the artists during that day. After the art has been done, the artists are going to bring their products to us so that we can then put them up in City Hall for the public to be able to come out and see it. And the idea behind that is we are going to set up in City Hall, put up to 30 pieces of art there, and create a QR code list, because we want the citizens to come and vote on their favorite picture. And they'll use a QR code to do that. Now, keep in mind that City Hall will be open during the month of May, only Monday through Friday. So you'll have to come between 8 and 5, Monday through Friday, to see the art, but it's gonna be up there for the whole month, is what we're going for.
So
Now,
May or June?
I'm sorry, June, the month of June, yes, I think you corrected me. The event is gonna be on May 13th, but the actual display, the exhibition is gonna be the month of June.
So the artists would leave their canvas behind?
If they're done with it,
Okay,
because they may wanna take it home and do some final touch-ups and whatnot.
so they would have a drop off?
She's gonna give them a drop-off deadline and that sort of thing to get stuff up and posted and whatnot, is what she wants to go with. And so she wants us to approve, buying, the materials, and this is in our budget. She wants us to approve that tonight, and then we can begin the process of order. Now, the other thing on the second page she wants us to think about is having a $10 registration fee for the artists. So they sign up that they want to participate, and they pay $10, and that's just to ensure that, yes, they are going to be coming, and then they will get the supplies from us, and then report on the 13th to the depot.
So we would make money off of this event.
Well, are we allowed to? Remember, we've had this conversation before, like, are we allowed to take money?
Well, she's just bringing this up.
No, I was just curious, like, if we did charge a $10 registration fee, we would then be making money.
Yeah, that's
So
what I was-
none of
that's
the
what
money
I'm
would come out of
thinking.
our budget either.
So this is the last, like I said, this is the new part. We can say, yeah, no, nah, we don't need to do it, we got the
No.
money.
Well, I agree with the concept of having a registration fee. I think when you do things and you tell people that there's no cost to them,
They
then
think
they
that-
don't show up. Right,
It's
and
not
so,
worth it, yeah.
so I feel like that creates an investment in participation. But maybe it's that your fee is refunded to you if you show up.
That's what I was thinking, or, yeah.
I mean, like,
I think we need guidance on if we can accept the money, how it gets accepted. do we
right,
have
there's
to
all
count?
those, yeah.
I like the idea of a first time around, not taking money or even offering a registration fee. I feel like.
I don't know, I feel like it's
There's gotta
free
be-
people,
yeah,
and
people don't show up
especially
next
because they're
time.
gonna have to like work, and I feel like if you're not, like, if you don't have money in there.
Or what about, like, what if we took the $10 as a $10 donation fee, let's just call it a fee, and then it says down here that there's gonna be a place where people vote on their favorite, maybe we give out the prize from the fees that we collect, like, maybe first place gets $150, second place gets $100, and third place gets $50, or something like that, that's,
Or it
And
goes
money
it goes to a nonprofit group.
Yeah, okay, sure.
I would rather see it go to, I think though, sorry to keep like bringing this one back home, we've got to find out how the money is gonna run
Yeah,
through.
let's figure
us.
that out and then table the discussion on what to do with it, so we really know what we can do with it.
Yeah, but I love the idea of the whole event.
Yeah, that sounds great, the event sounds fantastic.
We can ask about what the money stuff.
Okay.
What to do with the money, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Because maybe we can have a discussion about something we don't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's a new piece she added, and that's not that important for us to get moving, because what she wants me to do is to go ahead and get this information over to communications, so they can start broadcasting, right? And then, again, when people come to the, reception next month, we can maybe get a few more people that are gonna be looking into it, this has been out for a while, that's all.
We should also get a flyer about it to put up at the artist event. I mean, we should have information so that people can also like know that that's coming up.
Okay, we can get the communication team to just create a flyer.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking in my head that we should have some flyers for all of our upcoming events so people can see them, what's going on.
Okay,
Or just you know, those plastic things that like hold a sheet of paper up like this.
Oh, yeah.
Those things, we just
Yeah.
need one flyer
Yeah,
or something like that. and we can
A little
set it
flyer
out.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure they can easily do that, because, they had these really nice flyers for Black History Month, and I didn't even know they had them until I got to the city hall and saw it in the window. And I went, oh, wow, that's cool. So I can just say, can y'all make some flyers about advertising this? And they'll post them like at the Parks Department, they'll post it at City Hall, they're posted at places where the public goes. Here at the library, Public Works, they can have a flyer up, that kind of thing. So I'll tell them to create a flyer too. Okay, all right. Yeah. All right, and so, Michael, if you guys will look into the idea about the $10 registration fee, what's the process with that?
I think money that the commission takes in goes back to the general fund,
Okay,
so, but, we will make sure, just
The
in
general
case,
fund of the city or the general
City.
commission fund?
the city.
I'm not,
Because it was allocated from the city,
From the city's
and
part.
so,
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
but we'll make sure.
Maybe it's $5.
and you know, and you can, I think when you do things like, we learn so much by doing something the first time as to how we're gonna do it the next time. I'm not in favor of having anybody pay to do this first time. And does that mean that we learn from that people say, yeah, I'm coming, and they don't show up because they didn't say anything, or we'll know the next time? But I would hate for a homeless person to not have $10, but they are an
And that's
artist.
holding them
And they can come
back
pick
from.
up the supplies and come back with this beautiful thing, but we stop them because they didn't have $10.
I guess, yeah, we could look at the no-show ratio. and
Yeah,
see
so
if
I
it-
think we can, I mean, because we're talking a maximum of 30, and because we're charging $10, then we not get 30. The people say, well, I don't wanna do this and pay 30, so we only got 15.
Yeah,
That
I
kind of
wouldn't,
thing
I
like
wouldn't
that.
put that.
So anyway, let's see what the ruling is about this money, and then we kind of go from there, with this. But, okay, we're gonna move forward with the event. We have the depot, it is a done deal, they are so excited. And the idea was that whoever wins the People's Choice Award, and we decided we want to do first place, second, third, fourth, fifth, or first and second, her idea was then we take that painting and we turn it into postcards, city column, and we can then sell them, the depot can sell them because they're a nonprofit, and the money can go towards them, that sort of thing like that. So we'll take it to that next step.
Okay,
and
so
gotta
we're
get a
gonna have
release
to
and
have,
over.
yeah, we're gonna have to have the artist sign on release.
And that they're okay with that, that
Display
they're getting
their
money.
stuff to say it's okay.
And we're gonna get that in a few minutes, because I actually have a document I want you to look at.
Perfect, okay. That's-
I, way ahead of you.
Well, if anything, for sure, we can include the winner on the artist spotlight on the website too.
Yes,
So-
Most definitely, yeah. All right, and then the last thing she said, she doesn't have much news to report about the art festival because we're looking at late May. The only question I had for her is, remember we were trying to get the budget through that she could get the deposit for the PAC? So I'm a little unclear about, and I will ask her, when do we have to place a deposit? Do we have to place a deposit in May or early June, or do we need to place it now for that?
I thought it was the understanding that since they aren't gonna release their schedule until May or early June, they weren't gonna accept it until then, because they can't theoretically just accept the money for deposit.
Okay, is that what you heard? Okay,
That was what I heard.
okay.
And then since we're there, I need to discuss the police department.
Okay, let's do it.
So I was tasked with determining what we need to do in order to have police there for security, crowd control, that type of things. I talked to Commander Lieutenant Tim Griffith, who's in charge of the City of Kyle Police Department. It's a little bit more complicated than we thought. He is the one that coordinates and handles all of it. Happy to do it, happy to commit to any time that we need it. We have to go before the council. We have to ask for their permission for the officers to be used and for the officers to be paid overtime, because this would be considered overtime for them.
Okay.
In addition to that, there's also the opportunity to use the citizens on patrol.
Yes.
We have to ask the city council for permission to use them. So his suggestion was based upon what we were looking at doing, was that we ask for permission to use citizens on patrol and they handle traffic, because that's what they can do. They're very official, they have uniforms, they have
I've been
cars.
admitted their events.
Yeah, so they'll handle traffic, and then Kyle Police Department will handle walking around security things at the event. He said for every 200 people, he would want 2 officers. And then he said when he goes over, and then for traffic, if we use Kyle Police for traffic, 1 to 2. He said 2 is probably better because of Kohler's Crossing and how complicated that is, and that you would want 1 on either side. So he said, once we hit 4, we're also going to need to have a supervisor on site to do all the coordination. He thinks we potentially will need up to 6, depending on how many people we anticipate will be there.
Plus the supervisor, or is it 6 including the supervisor?
6 people altogether.
Okay.
You've been right, that's
Okay.
but happy to work with us, happy to do that. Now, he did bring up another point. He said that we need to think about how we want to position everything in the pack, because we could take advantage of those parking places. We could also take advantage of all the side streets and going back into, what is it, Laverde?
Laverde.
Okay,
That was
going back
my
into there,
suggestion,
because there's
yeah.
parking back in there. He said in the past, the ARC, the property owners that own the parking, or those buildings over there, they have been very kind to allow parking there. We have to ask their permission.
Okay.
He said if we wanted to use across the street, that's all private property, we would need to have permission from everyone. I'm happy to take that on as we figure out where we're going. He's gonna meet with me once we talk to city council and start to map out how we would want to do this. So do you want me to go ask city council, or do you want to ask city council? I don't care, we just need to.
I'll do it, but the idea is that I truly believe that we don't have to use across the street. I think everything that we can be done at the pack on the side street and Laverde.
Yeah.
It will be done, and they've got a parking lot to hold the amphitheater crowd.
Yeah, no, I think that's great too, but I don't think city council wants to know that piece, because we don't know that yet. I think we just need to go ask them for up to 6,
Up to
plus
6.
permission
Yes.
to use. And I can type this up and send it to you.
Sorry, and the +6, so that's, they even have to have a supervisor, just from my understanding, even if we use the citizens version, not the.
So we can't use the citizens version to patrol and security.
No, but
If
for
there
the,
are 4,
for
if
the, but,
there are 4 police, they have to have a supervisor.
so we're expecting 400 people. That's what I'm asking,
No,
because you would
it's
have
like-
just 2 and 2, it's like,
Right,
it's like best case scenario
Right,
is
it's
2
just that.
citizens and 2 cops, because I feel like that's an easier way to get that passed for overtime
Well, but we,
versus 6 cops.
but then we have to go back and ask them for a supervisor. I think it's best to ask them, say, this would be the most that we would need, this is what we need approval for, and then if we don't use it, we don't use it.
Okay.
Can we use citizens on patrol and not use, they have to be a part of the package?
I asked.
Okay, all right.
We don't even have to use citizens on patrol. He just said, since they're volunteers,
Yeah.
that's a
And
better
it would be
option for
better,
traffic, you know, money wise, it might be easier with the council. But no, they cannot, because I said, oh, can't they do either?
Okay.
They
Yeah,
actually have to be police
They have to be
to work
police.
around.
Okay, so we can do something like have 2 police, because there's lots of citizens on patrol, guys. There's like 15 of them.
Yeah.
And, you know, they walk around in these real pretty shirts and whatnot, everybody knows who they are.
Right, but they can only, in an event like this, he said they can only handle traffic control.
They can only have
They
traffic.
cannot walk around the event and present themselves.
So
Okay.
best case scenario
Okay.
is 2 citizens, 2 cops, or, not worse, but probably most money would be 6 total.
Right.
Police
So,
officers.
and they have a way they have to determine who goes. So we'll just ask for it as we get closer to the event and start to figure it out. We'll work out the logistics for him. We just need to have permission so that we can move forward with that.
Okay, we can work with that, since we can't get in on the calendar until May, early June. We gotta do that first, get that secured, and then the next point B would be to do this piece, the police.
Okay.
Once we have secured, we have the facility, we can then go to the police thing, because that'll be your thing, right? Because Brooke is gonna be, Carol's gonna be doing the other
But I
things and that sort of
still,
thing.
no, and that's fine, like, I mean, we can talk to him, then he's okay
Yeah.
with that, but I think we ask city council now. Like, I think we ask city council at the next meeting, get it checked off our list, and then so we can move forward.
Whatever day it is, doesn't matter.
Right, so the date doesn't matter, we're just asking for permission, their permission to use Kyle Police and, Citizens on Patrol.
And then we'll let them know the date once we know.
Right, and then we figure out what the, because we already have.
Because if they say no, then it doesn't matter if we have the place secured or not.
Yes, that's.
So let's look at, okay, how about this then? How about we go to the April meeting, which would be the 18th. Let's go to the April 18th meeting with the, getting approval from city council.
Okay, you will have to do that without me. I'm
Yeah.
having surgery and I'm just gonna not be in the hospital.
No worries.
for a while.
Okay.
Okay, so I will make sure that gets on the agenda
Yeah.
for the April
April
18th.
18th meeting, yeah, so basically that's a month from now.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
we don't have to do it real fast. So, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so we got April, and then next thing we know, we got May, June, and then we'll find out for sure if the location has been secured, we can move on, but, okay, cool.
And if we don't get approval till June, we got a lot of work this summer to get Young Festival pulled off.
Yes. Oh,
And
yeah,
I will be gone most of June.
Yeah, I'm gone 2 weeks in June as well.
okay. We'll get everything all distributed as we do.
Yeah, so like.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, like, I'll be like totally out of pocket, otherwise.
All right, so we got city council meeting where we're gonna do a presentation in the April 18th.
and we're asking for, police officers for the arts.
We're asking for permission to use, Citizens on Patrol. And we're also asking for permission to use up to six police officers, including one supervisor. And we would need approval for overtime pay for them.
Okay, got it.
And it would be at the discretion, based upon our predicted numbers and the way our event's designed, it would be at the discretion of Commander Tim Griffith to make the decision about what numbers we needed. So it could be fewer than that.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay. All right. So in looking at all the stuff we just covered, go back to the agenda. We get a lot of stuff on the agenda. Number 7, we got that one. Number 8, we got that one. Last thing is, she was just giving an update on paint sip, and she said it's going well. The next one is going to be outside. It is scheduled
Next Friday.
next Friday. Thank you.
No worries.
It's next Friday, and this one's gonna be outdoors. The last one has been indoors. So they're hoping the weather works with them, and you go online, Parks and Recs, and you sign up. $30 a pop, and it includes all your materials and supplies, but you bring your own stuff to drink and whatnot. So they're gonna have it in the gazebo area outside. All right, and it's also gonna be in the evening, if I'm not mistaken. Okie dokie, and then, Hayes County Art Display, last thing she said was that, because of success with the, Simon Middle School and the art display, that the next one will be more of an open call type thing with Hayes County, with Hayes Consolidated School District. It's gonna be a little bit bigger, because city manager said, well, why don't we ask all the schools to participate? And I was like, this means we got 4 weeks, so we're going with one school, but the next time we'll do bigger. And she said, I'd love to coordinate that again, but this time we'll have more schools involved and whatnot. So she'll give us a date for that. She was thinking maybe in December to have it in, okay. So moving on, Stephanie, you're up next, number 11, to talk about the calendar.
So everyone has probably already looked at this by now, but if you look at the calendar, I highlighted all the dates that we have something going on. And in the middle 2 rows, I put like what the event is. And if it's highlighted, that means it goes on for more than one day, which was like the Black History Month art exhibition, the Cinco de Mayo display, and so on. I put the railroad depot paintings on display in City Hall for June and July. I don't know if that's still happening in July, but June for sure. And I would just highly recommend bringing this to every meeting and just writing on it, and as dates may change, we can fix it and adjust. But if you see in July, the East Side Sculpture Call for Artists, that doesn't have a date attached to it yet, and that will probably come up more often as we go on. But yeah, just bring this to every meeting, it'll be really helpful.
Thank you.
So is that East Side Sculpture, do you set on the agenda for later? But is that part of the thing that the city council was talking about?
Council.
Oh, sorry.
Council. So, okay. Thank you, Stephanie. Let's go and talk a little bit about the Founder's Day Parade. You remember the last time we met, I announced that Parks Department, we were talking about doing a float contest in the Founder's Day Parade. And with the float contest, the Arts and Cultural Commission will be the judges for that. So saying the date is going to be, it was October the 21st is when the Founder's Day Parade is going to be. I'm sorry, wrong. It's the 14th. It's the 14th because the quilt show is on the 21st. So it's the 14th of October. It's going to be a market day. In addition, it's going to also be Founder's Day. And on the Founder's Day, there's going to be a new component added to it, which is going to be floats. And so the advertisement will go out and participate, you know, create your float, et cetera, et cetera. And that's where we came in regards to being the judges. I asked Stephanie to take the lead on this one, and she provided us with some information, basically some degree of guidelines about the float as a kickoff. So we looked at this for the first time to make some recommendations, make some changes, give our approval, whatever the case may be. So everybody has a 2-page that's stapled, and it says definition of a float. And that was one of the things I asked her to do. What constitutes a float? So we can get that out, because you know, 8 guys on the back of a pickup truck is not a float.
I love that.
I mean, it's nice and all, but no. So take a look at each of these pieces, and we'll talk about the definition of a float and then guidelines for judging, because we kind of give you criteria. And anytime you have criteria, you have to give the people who are participating the criteria so they know what they're going for. Get any guidelines. She's put that on here, and then on the second page, she brought up the idea of perhaps giving prizes or something.
How many floats are we wanting in the parade, or how many are we expecting?
We actually not gonna do that part. Parks is gonna make that decision.
Nice.
Yeah, we just get to judge.
We're just judging. Fantastic. I know, okay.
We just judge it.
So we don't care if it's what kind of vehicle, like a golf cart or a car, or we're not into that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I love this one.
I was a fun part.
So just to clarify, so the Founder's Day Parade is on October 14th. That's also going to be the same as Quilt Show,
So
right?
it's still the second, it's on the
Who
second.
shows a week after that?
So here on the calendar, it says the Founder's Day Parade's on October
Yes,
2nd.
I just want to make sure I understand.
Founder's Day Parade, it's gonna be in conjunction with, Market Day.
Oh,
So
sorry.
the actual Founder's Day is on the 2nd.
That's, okay.
Oh, not the parade.
Yeah, Founder's Day is on the 2nd, the parade is on the 14th, which is the second Saturday of the month.
Right.
Yeah. So as we take a look at definition of flow, guidelines for judging, that kind of thing, we're gonna give this to Parks, right? And say, hey, we came up with some guidelines for y'all, so now y'all take this and run with it, and we'll be there, all pretty, to judge.
Perfect. Sounds good.
And then we can also, we'll also make a recommendation that they consider awards and commemorative plaques or something like that, but that's not something we're doing, we're just doing the judging. They'll take care of that part.
Okay.
And this is a recommendation to them. They don't have any guidelines at all for this. We're giving them something to jump start, okay? All we said is, all I agree to is that we're gonna judge. And we, I don't know, maybe we'll have a cute little judges stand, we'll be there, that kind of thing, that they come across as.
I don't want them to know it, so they don't like it.
I'm gonna wear a mask.
Well, they don't have to know what the judges are, that's not necessary, but they are gonna know it's gonna be the art and cultural commission, so we kinda gotta give away that. Okay, so as y'all take a look at this though, is there anything that strikes out at you that you might wanna make a change to, take out, accept it before I send this on to them?
The only thing that kind of jumped out to me, this is really thorough and awesome. I think it's okay to throw out candy. Do we want to do like small beaded necklaces? Because I'm only thinking of who's going to clean that up.
Where are you looking?
I would
You
say,
know?
well, that's not our
Yeah,
job.
okay.
So,
Yeah, we don't have anything.
What number are you referring to?
Number 4 in the other safety. Okay, if we don't need to worry about that, then never mind.
That's what, I was like, all my questions are gone.
Yeah. I know, I think this is great.
Yeah, we can, and they may wanna say, no, we're not having to throw anything, they may wanna throw it out, find us,
Okay.
we just made a suggestion.
Yeah, I'm good with this.
Okay. All right, sounds good, ladies. All right, like I said, I'll just, you know, the date and time, most times the parade starts like 9 in the morning, right? And, we know the date already, and they'll have us a designated place where we're gonna be standing, and we're the judges, and once they may look at this criteria in regards to the guidelines and the rubric and make a few changes to it, we'll get it way ahead of time as we're making, because we'll have score sheets, right? That kind of thing. We'll have score sheets to score them and that kind of thing, and then they'll take the score sheets, the parks department, they'll decide who's gonna be the winner and that thing. Just think about when we're doing, what is it, American Idol? We're judges, that's all we do. So, okay, cool. All right, I will send this on to them, and Stephanie, did you send this to me electronically already? Yes. Okay, thank you. I will get it over to Parks, and then I'll give you any feedback that they give us, for the most part. Okay, cool, moving on. Art reception, you're up, Brooke.
Okay, thanks for changing the date, y'all. There's no way we could have gotten that done this month. So appreciate that on a lot of different levels. Right now, I think that we're pretty good to go. My only concerns are the tables. The tables are running over $600 just to have people bring 5 tables here, which is ridiculous. They have to come from Round Rock. If somebody wants to go pick them up.
I was about to say, is there a closer place?
No, you have to pick them up on Friday afternoon and have to bring them back Monday morning. So those are 2 times I don't want to drive to and from Round Rock.
Is there's a closer place that's right off of,
They won't do small one. I've called everyone around here. I can't even get that table rental place to even send me an invoice to like nail down a date.
We had that.
Oh, you
They
have tables already?
They contacted and gave us the price and whatnot, and we're just gonna go with it, we'll make adjustments.
Okay, so you're handling tables.
Because they'll take it, yeah, because actually Colleen was the person who got a hold of them through the Parks Department, the city or something like that, and remember you sent me the price and then the total and that kind of stuff like that, and they'll deliver them.
But I didn't contact them, I didn't
So
set it
those are the
up.
people that I contacted. They're charging us $650.
Yeah, it's fine. That's one less thing. Go ahead.
Right, but that's twice what we have, like we could just purchase.
Because that's who the city uses, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, they don't want us to purchase.
They don't want us
because
to
we don't have
purchase them,
storage.
they don't have a place to store. And they want industrial sized tables if we bought them anyway, and that is
Yeah.
not gonna be cheap.
That
So
was
they
what
said, rent it, that's what
recommended.
they do.
Right, but I can't even get the rental place to like nail down that they're actually gonna do it. I can't get an invoice for them, so I can't pay them.
I'll take it. I'll come.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, no worries. I just been having a hard time, because I wasn't sure how the finances worked, and I didn't want to put it on my personal credit card. And
Oh, no,
be
no,
like,
no, no,
yeah, no. So I asked the lady to send an invoice. I talked to her like 3 different times. She kept saying she was gonna email me, and it never came through. Anyway, she's very nice. It just hasn't like connected in the right way in that case. Okay, so we're definitely like a little, well, more than double our budget for the, for that part of it, which is not the end of the world, but that does increase that a little bit. Right now, I guess what I'm working on is finding a graphic designer to make an invitation, and my idea was to just create like a postcard-sized invitation and print them all out, and then bring them here to the library, and everyone can come here and pick up like a stack of them to kind of like put up in different places or hand out.
I can make it on Canva. It's relatively,
I have
I
a
made,
budget here. regular, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, but we might be able to move that budget a little bit, because if you can make them,
Yeah.
and we can give them to the communications in order to get them printed, but what are we talking about specifically? Because earlier we
No,
talked
that's
about
great, because
making
then we can
flyers.
take that money and put it, like, that can help cover the cost of the
Yeah.
tables.
I do
If you
them
want to
just
put
for
a camera
like
together-
things at my house, like with my friends, so I don't mind.
No,
Like,
do you have a professional version of Canva, or I can? put
no,
it in
just
the-
I just use, yeah, regular Canva, and then I usually like manipulate it my own way.
Yeah, no worries. I was just gonna say, I have one, like a professional version of Canva, if you want to be added onto the team, then you can drop in any graphics that you
Yeah.
want for free, you don't have to pay for
There we
anything. So, okay, so you'll take care of the graphic, awesome, and then you can send it to me as a PNG?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect, we're download it however we need to, and I can go have it printed. So how do we pay for the printing, or do we have like a city place that we need to go?
Well, so anything that you need to purchase that needs a credit card, you can just tell me about it and I will make the purchase, because I'm gonna use the library city.
Okay, because once you give me the file, we can order them all on Office Depot's website and pay for it online. So
Yeah,
that's
and
great.
we actually have a printing
Yeah,
place,
that's the thing, y'all got printed.
up on, it's a little bit far.
Well,
but I don't
whoever it
know.
is, but yeah, no worries, no
Yeah,
worries.
I can, and they turn things around pretty quickly, the city uses them, and, they do a good job, and they invoice us,
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay, that's what I
Called
was,
Printing
I was like,
Solutions.
I'm not really sure, so this is perfect. We're
Yeah.
gonna just knock it all out. The other thing is, we want to make sure that we have a QR code made, so whoever, when you make the QR code, send it to me. We can also, I mean, what do we need?
So you need to
Just a couple of
just
those, I
to,
mean, like 6 of them, I can print them at home, it's not a big deal.
yeah, so just to confirm, the QR code is specifically for the
Google
link,
form.
the Google
Google
form
form.
for that,
Yeah,
okay,
and
not
that's it,
that,
that's it, yeah. And then, all right, the other question that I had was, we have the caterer, everything's done with that, they're okay with moving the date.
I need a more detailed, invoice than what we have.
What do you mean?
Because
they
it
haven't bought
says-
anything yet.
Well, come up with a menu.
No, she hasn't put me together, she just wasn't sure, like, exactly how many people we want to make sure. Because I gave like a ballpark number, but the question that I had is, how many people do I tell the caterer? Do we want for 100 people? Do we want for 400 people? Because there's a big difference.
I would say we go with 100.
I think 100, because
Okay,
this is not meant to be a meal for anyone, so.
no, just like in a movie.
So well, I think it's fine if people just get a couple. Like,
So-
if 200 people show up and everybody just.
Yeah.
So 100 people, and did you want them, I know that originally I think she did like 3 savory and 2 sweet, or it was the other way around, I can't remember. I just couldn't find it in here.
You come up with like that. That's fine.
But did we want like 5 different pieces, or did you have like something that you were like, we must have dipped strawberries, you know, or something? It doesn't matter, just 100 people?
You do menu.
But you probably do want to have like a vegan or vegetarian option.
Yes.
That's-
But we need, the invoice that we need needs to be a little bit more detailed in regards to, here's the menu. And because the thing that you gave us, it said service, and there was one part, then it said groceries.
Right, because we weren't sure how many, and I was like, just
Okay.
plan on like 250 people and give me like a ballpark, and just
So,
like,
yeah, so
okay.
go with
So that's why I wanted to
and
make
then put
sure.
together the menu, and then get us a new invoice so we can, because that will go to purchasing so they can cut a check.
Perfect.
And
she
that'll be
can-
an invoice, right? We don't need that to be paid with credit card?
No, you can cut her a check later, however
Cool.
the city.
And
does
the
it.
only thing about that is if you want me to have the check ready to hand to her at the event, the turnaround time is a little bit slow. So
Yeah.
if she's okay with getting paid after.
It would be mailed to her afterwards. She okay with that?
I think that should be fine. Is there a way to do like 50% up front?
Yeah, if we can get an invoice, it's just, the only problem is with accounting, it takes about 2 weeks.
Okay, you know what, I'll reach out to her,
Yeah.
either probably tomorrow, and just be like, hey, what's gonna work? I don't know if like 50% upfront would be helpful just in like purchasing all of the stuff.
Yeah, we
things
can
like that,
totally
so.
do that, it's just that the turnaround time is a little bit long, so.
Okay,
I just did an event here at the library this week, and it was like, 2 weeks was a good amount of time to
Yeah.
have the check in my hand, yeah.
I will, I'll check in with her and just ask what her typical standard.
Yeah, so
is.
just plan for
And I'll
getting
get
that
a
to me,
detailed
like,
invoice.
just back it up 2
Okay,
weeks and
and I
then.
send you the invoice?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, send her.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, the other thing is, as far as purchasing like beer, wine, water, soda, how do I do that? I figured I would just go to Costco because that's the least expensive route. I mean, for buying the larger liters, they.
But then if we're gonna use a credit card for that, then Colleen would have to do that, because we don't want you paying out of pocket.
Yeah, and
A new one?
Yeah, we are, because we're the ones that do it.
yeah.
I don't actually have it, I use my. But does that work? We could just go there like a day before, or 2 days before the event?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And if it's still not open, you need it earlier, I can get you a Sam's.
Okay, yeah, we
cards,
usually
'cause that
go
one-
up to the other one.
Okay, well, I got a Sam's card, if we need to do that already, so, okay.
As far as supplies goes, like name tags we can order from Office Depot, if you can, we can put that in order with the printing.
Are those the name tags, or the ones you get, you write your name on?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. I mean, I thought that would be the simplest way to do it. We have some colored Sharpies. I have a ton of Sharpies. We can just send out, people can use the Sharpies to like make their name tags.
That's on the list, actually, it sounds like just put together a grocery list.
Right, so cups, napkins, paper towels, we can buy that at Costco too? Does that work okay? Yeah. All right, so all of this, I'm just gonna put here, like Costco. The only other question I had was, is anybody interested in doing centerpiece or table decorations for our 5 or 6 tables? Does anybody want to get together and do something?
You know, I was thinking about that, I think
Do we wanna
maybe
craft it
table coverings, but I don't know about,
The linen comes with the table.
okay, not so much, and I was just thinking, I was at a South by Southwest event, and it
The
took
paper
away,
cover.
people ended up taking the base off the cocktail table, because we had 6 people around the table, and that took up space. So people literally took the pretty little thing, and they sat it over to the side.
Just do the other thing, one of these, the flute, like a really skinny,
Tall,
fine,
skinny,
skinny
yeah.
base, and that could be a.
But it,
Or we don't need them at all.
And you can, honestly though, I can go to Dollar Tree and grab
Yeah.
6 of them.
and then you go, what, just take them home?
No, my fiance's a caterer, so he might end up using it later,
Okay.
so, I mean, and no, they're literally $1.
I'm just
Like,
saying, where we
We
put
could
them
also
afterwards.
do like,
Right.
the other thing I had was I could, do buttons. So I have a button maker, so if, we could do kind of like with our logo on them, we could do buttons and have those in the center and people could actually.
one.
take them.
That's a good idea, I like that better.
Like a glass fishbowl kind of.
Well, usually just set them on the table.
Yeah.
So just like,
I like that.
I like that idea, I like that, anytime you can advertise.
And you can have them on the table where people are doing their name tags.
Right, so I would just need money to like buy the buttons and go, whoa, goodness. I would just need money to like buy the buttons. I have the maker part of it, we just need the components and then printing out, like really, what I found is if you print them on a regular printer, they don't look as nice, but if you go and have them printed at like UPS, they have those really nice printers, or I don't know if y'all have like a really nice printer here. Okay, no.
Just a regular printer.
Alright, we can just print them out there and we cut them out and we can make them all out, so. Okay, so let's do
That's a great idea.
And what you can do is send me, if you want, like, send me like an Amazon, like, or wherever you wanna get them from, if you sent links in an email, I can.
Okay, you can order them that way?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good. Okay, awesome, and then we can have that.
You and I can touch base too, about dates and stuff.
Sounds good. All right, I think that's everything. The other thing I would say is that what if everybody wants to make a flyer about the thing that they're doing, we can get those little plastic thingies that we insert the page in and then like we can put them on a table where the food is or something that people are picking up, so. But other than that, I think we're good to go.
And I've got those plastic things, the display where you slap the paper in.
Do you know what, are they, perfect, are they regular size?
They're long side, 8 by 11, or
We're gonna
just
slide it like this or like this, yeah.
Yep.
Perfect, okay. So Vanessa's in charge of that. Vanessa has those.
Yeah, we'll slide in, so.
Vanessa, plastic slide.
So what are you
I just got-
Yeah, we just got the notification the weather's about to turn.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we are good to go.
Oh, wait, sorry, can I say one more thing on the next piece, because the next piece is the theater project, and we were just talking about a bunch of visual art, and I have, since we're not doing the theater project, sorry, maybe I'm like jumping so really fast. Since the theater project isn't happening until the spring, and we've got this whole push that people want to do more visual art, and they're pushing for these sculptures, and they want to bring in tourism. my idea was this, that we have boxes that are like little libraries, but they're not little libraries, they're little art displays. And you have rotating inside of them. They have one at the Price Center, and it's super awesome. And you put in like a 12 by 20 inch single piece of art, has a QR code that goes straight that tells about the artist. It's a little box. And like literally you put the art inside that box. And I thought it would be kind of cool if we had like 6 or 8 of these boxes built, or even 4 for right now, whatever, I get big, 27,000. But if we had, maybe 4 boxes somewhere interesting in the downtown area or wherever they want, the idea is we can expand it, but we could showcase a variety of different artists' work. That could be high school kids, it could be artists, in the community. We could do like, oh, here's 4 for, Hispanic Heritage Month. We're gonna have these 4 artists, and you create like a small piece and you put it in, and we rotate them out every 2 or 3 months, depending upon how we want to do it.
So will we be building the boxes?
Yeah.
Okay.
We would have to build the boxes.
Build boxes.
I love that, you know why? That could become like our mermaid.
Yeah.
That could be what?
Become like our mermaid, like in San Marcos.
Yeah. These art boxes.
Yeah, they're like art boxes, and they want
And then you're not stuck with like one.
Yes. Only one thing.
And we could eventually, because I think it's too big right now, but we could eventually have it coincide with whatever theme was
Right.
at the city
City Hall,
hall.
or
We could
yes.
open that up to students, like, the whole summer is just student art.
Art box.
No, I love that. I think that's
So-
great.
I thought that the art box might be a great way.
There are actually 2 places, I went looking around, there's 2 places at Hardison Park where there's a standalone open grassy area where you could do something like
Because
that.
we could put one in every park,
Yeah.
that would be
That's
kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's how we did the little free libraries, was we just put them in parks. And so it'd be a similar thing.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same thing, but it's had like amazing
Art boxes.
And
Yeah.
that could be something that if businesses want it in front, we could send it, because it's just like the little libraries.
Yeah.
When you want that in front of your house, you go find someone who build it, and you put it in front
Right,
of
and
your
we
house.
can
So,
say, hey,
if
you want to bring people towards you to see this art?
They can put one there if they wanted.
Put it on the wall that's
This
falling down.
idea that a developer could say, hey, we want an art box in front of us, and we'll say, here's how much ones cost.
Yeah, you go do it, you can put it up there, we're not telling you, you have to.
Well, how are you gonna sure people aren't gonna walk off of it?
They're locked. The box. You mean the box?
I mean, the whole box.
Oh,
Wait,
it's
it's on the
just
post,
ground.
it's on the post, and it's like concrete, yes. And then
And
it's
it,
locked,
it
so.
could be possible that people repurpose other things to, like, make an art box out of, like, I had a little free library that was an old TV at my house, like.
Yeah, that's
and
what I was thinking, that
like
might
it
be
was-
something cool. to,
I
like,
wonder if we could even do
We
stuff.
could have so we could start with a few boxes for people to get the idea, and then maybe we have a contest every year, and we pick like the best 2
Yeah,
permanent
cool.
art
Yeah.
boxes.
Tiles, art boxes.
Yeah, all right.
And I was like, and then they get switched out every so often. and-
Oh, that's genius.
That's cool.
Thinking about art boxes.
Yeah.
Cause I saw
I was
people
trying to
do
think,
like
I
little
feel
free
like
libraries out of the
everybody
newspaper
talks
boxes
about
and like
it.
that
That's
kind of
so
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, if you did
Yeah.
art and stuff like that, I love that idea.
Okay.
But I feel like we could mix kind of a little bit.
Let's
of-
start
Even
working
people
on
who
the,
do quilts, you know, you could do it for them.
Let's start working on the details of what that would look like.
So I took a picture of, I'm gonna take a picture of the only one I've ever seen. And I asked permission to use it for the city, for the person whose it was.
So the idea is
I'm gonna
that
bring this
it
commission,
might
can
be
I?
something that we could perhaps get, the city would initially be creating these, the maintenance, so they all look alike in regards to the art box, right? Where we're gonna put them, because they're gonna have to dig a hole, put cement in it, have a pole, all that kind of stuff, so it's permanent. So we're gonna have to get them involved in that, but we have an initial design of what that's gonna look like. I
Can we
think
put our
that's
logo on the side? of it?
Absolutely,
You know?
yeah.
Like, but I
And
think
the
the box
QR
should be
code.
very simple.
Another
like,
QR
very
code if you
simple.
want to be considered for the future.
Right. Got an idea for an art box?
Yeah.
The contents of an art box?
Yeah, like an old piece of furniture.
And I love it
too, yeah,
because
yeah.
it also allows, it's not just a painting, people that do, that are-
Three-dimensional.
Yeah, you can do all kinds of
Yeah.
things. And you just tell people like, here are the dimensions, your art must fit within these dimensions, take a picture of it and send it.
The next art box, filling or whatever,
Well, and
it's gonna be on such and
It gets
such
a lot of people like, oh, so-and-so has their art in one of the art boxes, come down and check it out, or, you know.
Mhm. I love that.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, we saw, well, I didn't got there, we saw it before, and then we see where we
Okay.
just, plus the fact that all of these developments that are coming up, right? we don't know what the design's gonna look like, but, if you think about the restaurant row, I can't tell what that design's gonna look like, there might be 2 art boxes there at some point.
Yeah,
right?
and that'd be kind of fun to
And
just-
then, the aerial by Lowe's, that's gonna be another area that's coming up, it might be an art box there. So we got a lot of stuff popping up that they want us to put something on, but we can't put anything on it until we figure out what it's like. And that's why I was thinking downtown, they're redoing downtown, so why would we put art downtown until it's done? Well, we could put art boxes in the park, but that's how it's done.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And honestly, I think if you moved, even if it's created, like we can, if it needs to be
I
moved.
mean, worst case scenario, you
Yeah.
just pull the concrete, move the box somewhere
Yeah.
else.
And it's not a one-time tourist thing, take a picture with this sculpture.
Right.
You come back
Exactly.
over and over again, I mean, now think about it.
It may
There's
be.
like kids, you
Oh my God,
gotta
let's
do
go
something.
Let's go check out the new art box.
Yeah.
What
I love
happens
it.
is, what's in May, what they have in May might not be what's gonna be in there in November.
Yeah.
No, it should be, yeah, we should rotate it as much as possible,
Okay.
so.
Cool. Art
Okay,
box.
awesome, so I'm totally still down to do the theater and the amphitheater, but I think we should move the budget away from the theater production for this year and move it towards like working on the
We're
art
gonna
box.
have to, because the money that we allocated for the community theater technically has to fall within by October. So
Oh, right, so we gotta do
get
that,
ready
yes.
to do a new
That's why I was like,
budget.
we gotta come up with something different.
Yeah, 24.
No, no worries, I just was saying like, let's just
Yeah.
scrap that for right now and move into the art
I
box.
know, I like it too.
Okay.
Because you can do anything, you could do a canvas, you could do a quilt, you could do whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
as
it's
long as it
like-
fits in those dimensions.
Yeah.
Art boxes will work with Vibe when they cut through all of
Oh,
our
definitely,
neighborhoods to go
yeah.
the trail. We can have art boxes up and down the trail,
Yeah.
True.
because they're about to just go right through the middle.
And you could even do a theme. You
Yeah.
could even do like a Hispanic Heritage, like trail of one, like just take them over for the.
Or history of Kyle, and then it has,
Oh,
you know, like.
All right, sorry, I'm gonna look everybody up, I know the storm is coming, and we're already well past.
All right, look again, let's go on to 15
Super
logo.
easy. This is the logo, we
I love
all
it.
agreed on, it's done.
Looks good.
That's good.
Can you say yes, we're good?
I know.
I said everybody's yes.
No, I know.
No, this is
We're
it.
going.
We also have black and white ones. I've got, Michael has, Taylor has sent them on, and Liz got some, and, which, sorry.
You're good, you're
She
good.
sent out asking for the login. I
Yeah, because
feel
he
bad.
said that somebody had it, or
We
he's
got
like,
that fixed up. All right, real quickly, the one thing that we do need, and some of this I'm gonna table it for the next time, but I did want to say, because we're gonna start taking art from people utilized, I came up with kind of a guidelines or an agreement. And this is what we use for the Hayes County art show. And I just kind of repurposed it for us, where here's what's going on, information we need from the artist. And the artist is just telling us basically, I'm gonna loan these things to you. And then they will be returned at a certain time, just between, you know.
Yeah.
And so when we ask for something, for instance, we'll say, we need, we're asking for art pieces. It could very well be that we could use this for Cinco de Mayo.
right,
And the person would say, here's who I am, here's what I'm doing, here's a piece of art I'd like to submit. They give us some pictures, here's some background, oh, by the way, here's my bio.
Mhm.
And we have that information to take a look at for the person. And there's a fourth piece on me, I'm sorry, I left it on the printer. And it was basically saying, here's my art, here's how much it costs. And the paper then says, I am loaning it to the Arts and Cultural Commission from this time to this time.
okay, cool.
That's it. But I do want to run it by, have Colleen run it by the lawyers.
Yeah.
To make sure that it's good.
So we also need a disclaimer on there, that's great that it says this is what this costs, but we need a disclaimer on there that says something to the effect of, we're not held responsible
If something happens to it.
something happens to it, and if they feel that there is a value to it, they should insure it
Insure it
themselves.
personally.
Yeah, personally insure.
Okay, insurance and damage, got it.
And so we should also get in the habit of taking pictures of everything as it goes on, just to ensure that we have
Yeah.
photographic evidence that it's okay.
Will that?
And then question, sorry,
It's
from the artist, in the city, the one that the Simon Middle School students did, how many pieces were up, just so I have an understanding of how many fit in there?
They were there in size, I want to say we maybe had 40, 45.
I just wanna understand from like how
The
much
largest one might have been an 11 by 17, and the smallest one may have been an 8 by 10. So they vary. And I know that for what we're doing for the depot, those artists are gonna be 16 by 20. Because that's the canvas that we're giving them. Not anything over, anything less than that. Okay? All right, so I will work on that, but we'll get this done, this agreement. And then, guys, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month is in May. It's coming up. Now, Councilman Heiser is going to do a proclamation to the first meeting in May, proclamation for Pacific Islander Asian American Month. The month is from May 1st to May 31st. My question to you, do we want to do something to accompany the proclamation? It could be something big, it could be something small, mind you, we got a few weeks. So, first thing off the top of my head is Arts and Cultural Commission is at the meeting and we serve cake and punch in the foyer. And it says Happy Asian American.
What if it got
But at that point, we'd be standing in a foyer surrounded by everything that we had just done for Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo will be up.
Right,
Yes.
so I don't know what kind of message that's like, I feel like we gotta.
There's gonna be a proclamation for Cinco de Mayo too.
No, I don't mean the proclamation, I just mean that we probably need to come up with a little bit more. of a-
creative.
Yeah, something creative.
What if we
Let's
got,
think on it.
what if we got mooncake? Those are, isn't that typically
What
celebrated
if we did
during
something where
the,
people could like,
and then we could do more, but I was just thinking as far as.
Okay.
I got all weird about where I'm going.
Let me show you, how much time, guys. Let me show you how much time, guys. We have, to get this ready. Now, I mean, I don't doubt we couldn't do it, because heck, we did it for MLK in 3 weeks, right? So, but what we're looking at is today is the 16th, right? And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. We got 6 weeks.
Plenty of time.
All
We
right.
could also do profiles too of like historical figures and kind of have those.
Put that way.
And this is why Art Box would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, but back to.
Maybe you could
back
have
to
some
Pacific
prototype
Islander.
art boxes in 6 weeks so we can show off
That'd be cool.
Asian art.
Could we?
And we
What?
always do
I know,
stuff in the
but
library
we
for
haven't done that
Asian,
last
I mean,
time.
we always do stuff in the
You know,
library
it's on
for
there.
Yeah.
Asian American.
Maybe we have to figure out a design first that we agree on.
I'm wondering if maybe we have like 2, I don't know, I'll think on it. I'll think on it and send to the group. Maybe we have like a brainstorm thread just specifically
that sounds
for, and then we could send it out to folks.
I mean,
and
it'd be cool
then-
if we could have examples.
Could we do something in the park? Like, could we have outside display? Like, is there something we can borrow from somebody outside? Like,
Wait,
Well-
what are we celebrating? I mean, just.
We're celebrating
Heritage Month?
Asian American,
Pacific Island.
Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Yeah, I really feel like we need to think about something
Yeah.
that's not.
Let's make a thread, let's make a brainstorm thread
It's like
and
kitchen.
just like an email, and then we could start kicking around ideas, and then that way, at least we have somewhat progress towards.
Yeah, I would just throw out there that, I mean, just the whole equitable piece about making sure we, like, what your tier plan,
Yeah.
because I feel like that's something we would have to be careful about, is like, when we do different things, we should make them all about the same level of.
Weighted equally.
can we just?
Yeah.
Because I think that's something, because I mean, it is something people do pay attention
Yeah,
to.
they do. I
Yeah.
feel like I got cake and punch and you got like a whole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Can we display at the library?
yeah, absolutely.
So we could do a display here for Asian Pacific.
We could still have cake and punch.
Asian
I'm
American
not
Pacific
Asian.
Well, I mean, we could do the cake and punch here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we could actually have some kind of event.
But
The-
moving back to
Reaching out to,
Schools.
reaching out, okay, well, okay,
Yeah,
so
let's
what
do
if the, okay, well, how about this, 'cause I'm still thinking of time and whatnot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about, if we're talking May, school is getting towards the end, people start doing less things towards the end. So what if the idea was that the proclamation was going to be given at the first meeting, I think it's on May 2nd, and at the end of the proclamation, he would invite the community to come here where we would do something and we had cake, punch, whatever, but it would be here. So we invite you to come to the library on the 17th. And at the library is gonna be the dot. Now, my neighbor 2 doors down is Asian American and she out of town, cause I was like, what could we do? I asked her, what could we do? And she said, I'm out of town, I'll get back to you. And I was like, well, I kinda need it for the meeting, like, okay. So, what, y'all think maybe something like that?
Yeah.
We do the
Like
proclamation.
some type of like dancers or some type of like speaker or
Okay.
some type of.
I like dancers better.
Some type of performance,
You get Shen Yun.
Wouldn't it be cool to get like the dragon, you know, the dragon dance or something
Yeah.
like that?
In
too?
6 weeks, I mean, that'd be cool, but we got 6
Okay,
weeks.
so is
I'm-
the proclamation, is the proclamation gonna be during the day on May 2nd or part of it?
What if we don't build a community dragon? What if we build a
Okay,
community dragon?
the council meeting.
And everybody took a piece of it?
That's the fit in the box.
Wait, say it again.
Okay, so if we wanted to do something, like, so they did a proclamation at the council meeting, and
Yeah.
then, you know, we couldn't even do a reception or anything after, because people would have to sit through a council meeting.
No,
She
no,
means
no.
after, she means like
No, I know,
days.
but what I'm thinking is,
What if we?
Now, city council has on occasion done some special event right before council meeting starts. Like one time they did a tribute to Star Wars. And all the city council folks came out of the Star Wars costume.
Let's not do that for
Walked up the
Asian
middle
heritage.
of the
Yes.
aisle, had the Star Wars thing, but I'm not talking about that, I'm just saying that something is up. So let's say we got the dancing dragon to come, and so they would come and open up the meeting, and then city council, everybody, and they would kick it off.
Yeah.
Now, then the proclamation is read, after it's done, they ask people to come up for a picture, and then anybody who's there for the proclamation may leave. And that's it. So that's just an idea, right? I have seen where companies have come and serve refreshments during city council. And the only people who aren't going to get the refreshments during city council meeting are city council. People are getting up, going outside, getting cake and punch, coming back and sitting and eating and that kind of stuff. So it can interplay with it, but I do like the idea of him having a formal announcement about an event that's gonna be here.
Yeah.
And that invitation goes out to everybody where it's being recorded, live streamed and whatnot. And then we can figure out what it is we want to do.
Yeah, I think we'd have to just figure out what that would be.
Yeah, I like the ideas of contacting the schools and saying, is anybody got a group that want to
Yeah,
perform?
true.
Because people like to see performances.
Or even if teachers, if we asked art teachers if they would be willing to do the month of May, like art based on us, Asian American heritage.
True.
And then they could come and we display it and we could have a reception, kind of like we did
That's
before.
okay.
Because the other thing that's nice about that is you're keeping it sort of equal and fair, and we're not doing something
Yeah.
really big for one culture and something small for another culture. I mean, I just feel like that's something
No, I
that.
agree. And I like the idea too, because if we're gonna do a Cinco de Mayo proclamation and a Pacific Islander proclamation, they would do one and then do the other. Have one set of pictures, then read the other, then have another set of pictures, and then it's done. And then we don't have to say we had the cake for the Asian Pacific Islanders and that kind of stuff, but, you know, because we don't already have the Cinco de Mayo art display up. So, but the invitation is to come here the following week or Saturday. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, tell me how I can help in regards to, and
And we could,
everybody else.
we could maybe have some type of like art, thing where people could learn how to, like if we could find someone who would teach how to do calligraphy.
Yeah.
Or like something like small where
Yeah.
there would be an
Origami.
activity, origami or craft or something,
We have
yeah.
so much paper.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, if y'all can come up with a date though, to get on my calendar so we can be here to support, that would be wonderful. And then all I have to do is tell Hauser that what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something here at the library, and I'll give him the date and the time, because he's working on the proclamation right now. And we'll just go, cool. All right, that was the one thing that we needed to talk
And
about.
I'll get in touch with, someone, an art teacher, to
Okay.
see if we could get some student art.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna put, Indigenous People Month.
Whatever we need to, just get.
We'll talk more about that later. Our next meeting is April 20th. We
Holiday.
need to,
That's a holiday for me.
we do need to talk a little bit more about the idea of sculptures, but we think we fixed that with the art in the box thing, right?
Yes.
I think we got that one. So we just need to work on details of what that's gonna look like.
Perfect.
And then we do need to talk a little bit more about securing paying for some of the acts for the Juneteenth event. Because I need to get you invoices for us to vote on.
And I have something that may be possible for that. I actually have, gotten a login and an account set up for the Texas, Arts Commission on the Arts grants.
Right.
That help with, performance.
Yes, they do.
So, I've written a lot of grants for the Texas Commission on the Arts, so if you want any help on that, I'm super, super happy to do it. I've also reviewed for their grant commission.
Okay,
So I've been on both sides of that.
okay, so, cause I just,
It
we're
has to be
having,
on the roster though.
yeah. And that this group might not be on the roster, cause I'm
They're
just
not
doing,
yet. That's why we added commission, that's why we added culture to our name, so we could get on it.
okay, cause I'm just writing one right now for a summer program event. We're having the, dancers that dance at the Austin Powwow.
Uh-huh.
They're called the Great Promise for American Indians.
Are they on the roster list?
Yeah,
that's
we're getting
fantastic.
them for the summer for the library, and I'm writing a grant to supplement, to pay for some of it, because they're doing, the window is like right now,
Mm-hmm.
I think till May 1st or something.
I'm not writing for those right now, but I know they do 2 a year for, like arts grants, so.
All right.
So I don't know, I will look into
Come pick my
that.
brain if you
Yeah.
want.
Look into that.
While you're hanging out at Costco.
Yeah.
Yeah. April
What else, Jack?
13th.
Okay.
Friday the 13th.
Okay.
No, meeting with.
Oh, yes. So the idea of the April 20th meeting, I wanted to propose that we perhaps change that date. And the reason being is I have to go to Texas Women's University where the Regents are having a big event for the kicking of the anniversary of the university, and I have to be there. So I wanted to actually leave Thursday because I needed to be there for Friday morning. So I was gonna propose that we change the date, but only if you guys agree to it, because you could easily do the meeting without me.
Or do you have a date in mind that you're proposing?
Either the 27th, the week after.
Or would it behoove us to do the 13th so we can get out some of this stuff, like knock out some of these
Yeah, I can
kinks
do
for
that.
the Asian American?
Yeah, I can do the 13th. Oh, well, maybe not, I've got another event. Cause, could we move it to that Wednesday?
I can't do any Wednesday. I
Okay.
have commitments on Wednesday evenings.
And then the third Tuesday is always, library board, right?
That's Thursday. Second Thursday.
Second
Oh.
Thursday.
Okay, then what about that Tuesday, the 18th is the city council? So,
I'm open to 27th, I was just saying.
The only thing I would say, not doing it without Vanessa here, is if we have council members come after, we may want our entire committee
Yeah.
here to address any council member.
I agree. I'm open to 20, I was just suggesting maybe earlier just to knock out.
The 27th for me works,
Works for me.
and I could make the 13th work if.
27th on the table first. Anybody ain't got a problem?
Nope.
27th? Everybody okay?
No, just send that to Tara too.
Huh?
Send that to Tara.
Okay, all right.
We're gonna change it to the 27th.
So
Right now,
that's, yeah,
pending
as long
tariffs.
as we give notice that we're making a change, we're okay. And then we're gonna move it a week back, is what we're basically gonna be doing. And, we're moving back to the 27th. That's what we're doing. Our meeting is the 20th.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then, so our meeting is the 27th of April, I'm sorry, our meeting is the 20th of April. We're moving it to the 27th.
Yes.
Okay, and it would have been, and then the big thing would have been, how well did our reception go on the 15th?
Fantastic, that's how it went.
And then the next event that comes up is not gonna be until the 13th, which we will be able to cover, and that's gonna be our Depot Call the Artist event, which will be 2 weeks after the 27th. Okay, everybody good? Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to leave soon because.
I gotta go, yeah.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
there's no change for me.
All right, I move to end the meeting.
My second.
All right, hey, we covered everything we needed to.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a long
That's all.
introduction.
Trying to get to what we do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen. And I will see you all later.
Okay, I just changed it on the city calendar, the 27th.
Okay.